What is up, you beautiful people? If you're new here or if you've been around for a while, you would know I am a guy with a lot of hobbies. Now, you may catch me out on the golf course throwing some piss missiles down the fairway. You may also see me out on the mountain bike trails making myself look a bit goofy. But needless to say, I'm a guy with many hobbies. As you all know, I also like to take my truck out and do overlanding and camping. And I do a little bit of paddleboarding as well. Now, with all these hobbies, I've been looking at a new addition to my little toolbox I have for all these hobbies, and that is this Airmaster Air Pump by HOTO. They sent this out to me, and at first I was like, well, I already have an air compressor on my truck. Why do I need an air pump? Well, there's a big difference between an air compressor and an air pump, and I'll explain that to you, and especially with my use cases. But with me always airing down my tires, having to fill up mountain bike tires, I'll tell you what, guys, I'm always blowing mountain bike tires out on the trails, super annoying. And with my paddle boards that I got to inflate by hand, I end up looking at this thing and I'm like, holy crap, this is going to be a game changer to my adventure setup. Now, HOTO isn't kidding. I hope I'm not butchering the name there. This is an Airmaster. You can pump up all kinds of things with this. Like I mentioned, bike tires, truck tires, tractor tires, my inflatable stand-up paddle boards. If you have an inflatable kayak, inflatable tent, air mattresses, they have all types of attachments in this bag here. All types of stuff. So whatever you need to pump up, you can pump it up. And you don't have to worry about taking a bunch of hoses and extension cords out wherever you need to pump up if you have to do that nowadays. This has a battery built into it, and you can recharge it with USB-C or off of a DC port inside of your truck, which is nice if the battery ever dies. And it's super compact, so you can just leave this in your truck at all times if you're gonna go out and hit the trails, or you're gonna go out on a camping trip and need to pump up air mattresses. I'm gonna show you guys this in action. I'm gonna show you how it works and do a little time-lapse video about how quick you can pump up my inflatable paddle boards versus me doing it by hand. I might get a little sweaty, guys, because it's a little hot out here and it takes a while to pump up by hand. So I dug in the bag of goodies here and I got the attachment set up and I got the hose plugged in. Pretty easy process, just screw on a couple attachments. And I'm gonna go ahead now and turn it on and hit SUP. So I know that I'm on SUP. And once you actually set what you want to inflate, you can click down on this button here and then set the PSI. But I'm gonna wait till I hook this up to do that. Now, the reason why you can't use like an air compressor like the one I have mounted under the hood of my truck on something like this is because when you compress air, it makes water, liquid. You don't want liquid inside stuff like this because mold grows. So air mattresses, inflatable paddle boards, and inflatable tents, stuff like that, you can't use an air compressor on. That's when this comes in handy. So I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to start the time lapse. I'm just gonna set this on the side. I'm gonna set it for 12 PSI. This is the first time I'm doing this, so bear with me. And so that just finished up there, and let me get my clock out I just had. It took me about 14 minutes to do that, give or take 30 seconds. I'm gonna actually look at the time more closely when I edit this, and I'll be able to tell a little bit better. But about 14 minutes, I have it set at 10 pounds. I was a little bit nervous about how much this was gonna pump up. I didn't want to pop it first time using it. It seemed to pump up pretty good. I didn't even break a sweat doing that. I'm gonna hook my pump up to this though. I wanna see if there's any kind of change between the PSI this is reporting and the PSI my pump reports. So give me 1 second. My pump is reporting accurately. I did just let it drain a little bit there because I had this off, but it is at 9 and probably just lost about a pound there. I'll pump it up. Yeah, so it is accurate, and I'm gonna test it again real quick. I wanna see if it'll shut off. So I'm gonna go up to 10 again since I did just drain it down by a pound. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it up to 10 and see if it will automatically shut off, just to see, for example, if you would walk away from it, would it be safe for you to walk away from and let something pop up while you go get a drink or something? You don't gotta worry about anything getting damaged. Okay, so that's pretty awesome. It does just shut off once it actually reaches the correct PSI. So you can walk away from this, go grab a drink, get some lunch, come back, and your paddleboard will be up and ready to go. I love to see that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna deflate this, okay? And I'm gonna do another time lapse against how fast I can do it with my bare hands with these big muscles I got here, okay? Check it out. Oh, now I'm gonna move the pump out of the way there. It also automatically shuts off, so you don't gotta worry about wasting your battery. Okay, let's hook this up. There's a bug on it. Let's make sure we put it back into inflate mode. Okay, 1, 2, and a 3. Okay. We just hit 10 pounds. I'm gonna show you on my phone, so you believe me. I'm gonna hit pause. £10. Now, what I'm saying is this. Now I'm out of breath, okay? I warned you. I am 210 pounds. You don't wanna ride these at 10 pounds. What I normally pump these up to is 13 to 15 pounds. So keep in mind that time it takes for me to get to 10 pounds to 15 pounds is significant. That extra 5 pounds is hard because of the pressure on it. Now, I did do it faster than that, but I'm out of breath. I could have hung out, hooked that up, walked around, did whatever I wanted to for that extra 10 minutes, and still had the energy to want to go paddleboarding. Because now my triceps right here, kind of burning, right? I'm a little out of shape apparently. Kind of burning. Now I gotta go paddle all around the river for a day. So I'm gonna be using this more because this is not fun. You can also pump up your truck tires with this. Now, keep in mind, this is an air pump. It's gonna take a little bit longer to pump up your tires than the air compressor will. So right now I'm at 30 PSI. It's really cool because as soon as you hook this up to any air pressure, it automatically reads the pressure. I like that. So I'm just gonna put it up to 32. Okay. That's actually pretty impressive because I actually thought it was going to take a lot longer than that to get this tire up 2 pounds. Now, you may not think 2 pounds is a lot, but when you have the back pressure of 30 pounds pushing against this pump, it makes it work harder. So I thought it was going to be a lot harder to push that air in there. So I like that a lot. We may have to do a full test on this to see how long it can pump up a tire that's say 10 pounds. Because usually when I go out on the beach, I go from 32 pounds all the way down to about 12 pounds. What do you guys think about the HOTO Air Master? Let me know down in the comments if you've been looking for some kind of air pump to take out on your camping trips. I think this would be a game changer, especially if you're dealing with air mattresses. Now, I got a rooftop tent on my truck. I haven't dealt with an air mattress in quite some time. But I do remember pumping them up and they suck, especially if you're a camper like I used to be, where I would wait to get my bed set up right until the last minute. Then all I want to do is sleep, and I go into my tent and realize I never pumped up my air mattress. Now this can solve that problem. You can hook up your air mattress, walk away, come back after having a few drinks by the fire and your bed is ready to go and you don't even have to break a sweat pumping it up. And you can pump your tires up, pump up your bicycle tires, pump up basketballs, you name it. This is your one-stop shop for pumping up all your things. I think they did a really good job on this. Also, HOTO, they did a really good job with just the build quality in general. This thing feels really premium. All the connectors, everything just feels good. And I'm a tech guy, and I'm just a little bit of a geek, to be honest with you guys. And just the way this feels when you turn it here, I can't describe it. It's just got a really good feel. Premium air pump. Honestly, I think this is a 10 out of 10 air pump. I think I'm gonna be using it all the time when I'm dealing with my stand-up paddle boards, and I'm just gonna leave it in the truck. So whenever I need an extra air pump, I have one. Well, I actually never even had an air pump. I've only had an air compressor. I was also really impressed with how quick it pumped up my tire. Between you and me, I was a little bit nervous that this wasn't gonna be able to pump up my tires at all from 30 pounds. I thought maybe max 20 pounds, because if you know anything about air pumps, they have issues pumping up tires. But from 30 pounds to 32 pounds, it did it pretty quick. Actually, you know what? I'm too curious not to test it out. I gotta see how quick this can pump up my tires, but I would like to charge it up a little bit. You know what? Let's just see. Let's take it down 10 pounds and let's go ahead and see how long it takes to pump up my tires, because I gotta know, guys. I gotta know. So I'm gonna go ahead and pump up my tire here. I did air down 10 pounds, so it's sitting at 20 pounds right now. It does say they recommend for large things to go ahead and plug it into a cigarette lighter if you're going to do that. So that is what I'm going to do. Says it right on top here. Okay. So there's a little plug-in symbol up here now. So I assume that it's just going to use this battery. I'm going to hit car. I'm going to set it to 30 pounds. I'm going to get my timer ready, actually. I'm very curious here to see just how quick it can pump up my truck tire. Okay, 30 pounds, go. Okay, well, let me pause that real quick. Okay, so it took about 3 minutes and 40 seconds because I was a little bit slow with stopping the timer there. That's actually really impressive. I did not think it was going to inflate 10 pounds into my truck tire that quick. It makes me wonder something else. Now, what I'm wondering is, well, since that was quicker than I thought it was going to be, is it because I plugged it into the cigarette lighter? Up top it says, when you're right here, when you're inflating bigger objects, large equipment, plug it into the cigarette lighter. I didn't consider my inflatable paddleboard large because of the PSI being so low. But that doesn't mean the volume of air isn't big. It's a big paddleboard. So I'm gonna actually try pumping it up to see if the time changes with having that plugged into my power station here. Just a little bit curious. I want to give it the best shot it has to outperforming me. Keep in mind, I was able to get to 10 pounds in about 4.5 minutes using my hand pump. This took about, I think 14, double check. But I'm gonna see if I can adjust the time if I actually plug it into the power station as it recommends. Now that I'm thinking about it more, maybe the stand-up paddleboard is actually a big object. I'm gonna run this test one more time. I'm very curious to see if it pumps this up any faster with it being plugged in. So I'm gonna go ahead and set it up to pump up my paddleboard, and I'm gonna put it at 10 PSI in 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, look at that. Look at that, guys. I just came back. I just got done eating dinner. I'm gonna pause this. I just got back from eating dinner. How convenient, that's funny. Just got back, literally. It was 11 minutes and 30 seconds and it's at 10. So that shaved about 3 minutes off, maybe 4 minutes off, doing it that way. Back to what we were talking about before I got sidetracked with these other tests I wanted to run on this thing. I actually end up liking this even more now. See how versatile it is? I'm able to pump up my tires, pump up my paddleboard again, because I was curious. And now that we know it does shave time off if you plug it into an external power source, that's a good thing to note. So note that on your piece of paper if you're looking at one of these. Shout out to HOTO for sending this out again. I hope I'm not butchering your name, HOTO. But this Airmaster air pump, pretty awesome setup, especially if you go camping with air mattresses. If you're a adventure guy like me, you got to worry about pumping stuff up. It's a 10 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments if you've been looking at an air pump or if you just pump things up by hand like a man. Me, I'm getting lazy, guys. The easier I can make things, the better. If you're interested in checking out the HOTO Airmaster air pump, it'll be down in my description. Click on it, check it out. It's pretty cool. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers, and man, are we getting close. Also, do me a really big favor. Check this video out right here. It's really good, and I'll see you in the next one.